Clairvoyance and Occult Powers by Swami Panchadasi. This is Lesson 15, Part B. In India, moreover, we find many instances of another form of psychic or astral phenomena. I allude to the production of thought-form pictures which are plainly visible to one or more persons. This phase of psychic phenomena is the real basis for many of the wonder tales which Western travelers bring back with them from India. The wonderful cases of magical appearance of living creatures and plants and other objects out of the clear air are the result of this psychic phenomena. That is to say, the creatures and objects are not really produced, but they are astral appearances resulting from the projection of powerful thought forms from the mind of the magician or other wonder worker, of whom India has a plentiful supply. Even the ignorant fakirs, I use the word in its true sense, not in its sense given by American slang. Even these itinerant showmen of psychic phenomena are able to produce phenomena of this kind, which seems miraculous to those witnessing them. As for the trained occultists of India, I may say that their feats, which they deign to produce them, when they deign to produce them, seem to overturn every theory and principle of materialistic philosophy and science. But in nearly every case, the explanation is the same: the projection of a strong and clear thought form on a large scale. Excuse me. Although I have purposely omitted reference to Hindu psychic phenomena in this book, for the reason given in my introduction, I find it necessary to quote cases in India in this connection here, for the simple reason that there are but few counterparts in the Western world. There are no itinerant wonder workers of this kind in Western lands, and the trained occultist of the West, of course, would not consent to perform feats of this kind for the amusement of persons seeking merely sensations. The trained wills of the West are given rather to materializing objectively on the physical plane, and that is creating great railroads, buildings, bridges, and so on, from the mental pictures, rather than devoting the same time, energy, and will to the production of astral thought forms and pictures. There is a great difference in temperament, you see, as well as a difference in the general psychic atmosphere between East and West, which serves to explain matters of this kind. Excuse me again. Now, an American writer truly says, quote, "The first principle underlying the whole business of Hindu wonder working is that of a strong will, and the first necessary condition of producing a magical effect is an increase in the power of thought. The Hindus, owing to that intense love for solitary meditation, which has been one of the most pronounced characteristics from time immemorial, have acquired mental faculties of which we, the Western and the younger civilization, are totally ignorant. The Hindu has attained a past master's degree in speculative philosophy. He has for years retired for meditation to the silent places in the land, living a hermit, subdued the body, and developed the mind, thus winning control over other minds." End of quote. In India, I have seen scenes of far distant places appearing as a mirage in clear air, even the colors being present to the scenes. This, though somewhat uncommon, was simply a remarkable instance of thought form projection from the mind of a man highly developed along occult lines. You must remember that in order to produce a picture in the astral of this kind, the occultist must not only have the power of will and mind to cause such a picture to materialize, but he must also have a remarkable memory for detail in the picture. For nothing appears in the picture unless it has already been pictured in the mind of the man himself. Such a memory and perception of detail is very rare. In the Western world, it is possessed by only exceptional artists. However, anyone may cultivate this perception and memory if he will give the time and care to it that the Hindu magicians do. You've perhaps heard of the Hindu mango trick, in which the magician takes a mango seed, plants it in the ground, waves his hands over it, and then causes first a tiny shoot to appear from the surface of the ground, this followed by a tiny trunk and leaves which grow and grow until at last a full-sized mango tree, which first sows blossoms and then ripe fruit. In short, in just a few moments, a magician has produced that which nature requires years to do. That is, he apparently does this. What he really does is to produce a wonderful thought form in the astral, from seed stage to tree and fruit stage. The astral picture reproducing perfectly the picture in his own mind. It is as if he were creating a moving picture film roll in his mind, and then projecting this upon the screen of the air. There is no mango tree there, and it never was, outside of the mind of the magician and the minds of his audience. In the same way, the magician will seem to throw the end of a rope up into the air. It travels far up until the end is lost sight of. Then he sends a boy climbing up after it, till he too disappears from sight. Then he causes the whole thing to disappear. And, lo and behold, the boy is seen standing among the audience. The boy is real, of course, but he never left the spot. The rest was all an appearance caused by the mind and will of the magician, pictured in the astral as a thought form. In the same way, the magician will seem to cut the boy into bits, and then cause the severed parts to spring together and reassemble themselves. These feats may be varied indefinitely, but the principle is ever the same: thought form projection. Western visitors have sought to obtain photographs of these feats of the Hindu magicians, but their plates and films invariably show nothing whatsoever, except the old faker sitting quietly in the center with a peculiar expression in his eyes. This is as might be expected, for the picture exists only in the astral, and is perceived only by the awakened astral senses of those present, which may have been stimulated into activity by the power of the magician, by sympathetic vibration to be exact. Moreover, in certain instances, it has been found that division is confined to a limited area. Persons outside of the limit ring see nothing, and those moving nearer to the magician lose sight of what they had previously seen. There are scientific reasons for this last fact, which need not be gone into at this place. The main point I am seeking to bring out is that these wonderful scenes are simply and wholly thought form pictures in the astral, perceived by the awakened astral vision of those present. This is, to be sure, wonderful enough, but still, no miracle has been worked. I'm going to cut this part off here and cut this off here. This is the end of part B. Lesson 15, part B. There will be a C.